How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Set 6, and today we're going to talk about something that a lot of people have been confused about since Rebirth. And it's Zack again, obviously. A lot of the confusion comes from Zack, but it's where did that scene go from Intermission? You know the one at the end of Intermission where Zack stood on the church steps and he's kind of looking around and talking to himself and rehearsing meeting Aerith again. Where did that go? So we're going to briefly chat about it. I want you guys to get involved in the comments below as well. Let me know where you think that scene's gone, because there are a few possibilities. There are genuinely a few possibilities, and I'm going to touch on them all really quickly. So like the video, subscribe for future content, and let's jump into it. So just as a quick refresher, we'll go over the scene again. The scene is where Zack is stood on the steps of the church in the slums, and he's kind of talking to himself, trying to rehearse his meeting with Aerith. Hey, how's it going? No, can't say that. Oh, how you doing? No, can't say that. How's it been? He's being awkward Zack, and we love it. It's endearing. Everybody loves it. Then he opens the church doors, doesn't see Aerith, sees a load of people that are looking pretty dishevelled, almost as if they are kind of chilling here because something's gone horribly wrong. A few suggestions were that it was people that had been displaced because of the fall of Sector 7's plate. You know, their homes had been destroyed, so they found themselves here in the church. Other people were saying that it was people who were displaced because of the events at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, the tornado, everything like that. There were several possibilities. But in the end, we got nothing. We didn't see the scene. We didn't even see anything that could potentially connect to that scene. There was nothing. The main suggestion that I've seen was people saying that it happened before the start of the game. So when we see Zack pass Cloud off to Kyrie, they've already been to the church at that point, but that leaves a lot of questions. The main one being, why wasn't Cloud in any of those shots at the church? Because if it was the case that this has happened just before Zack hands Cloud off to Kyrie, Cloud's obviously going to be with Zack. And he's not going to leave him on the opposite side of the road just to chill for 10 minutes. No, he'd at the very least have brought him up the steps and sat him down on the steps. So, yeah, I'm not buying that. But then that begs the question, where is it? What was it? What happened to it? And the fact that I'm completely ruling out that it happens before the start of the game when we meet Kyrie, I do not think that's the case. I'm ruling that out, that's gone. It's nonsense. It leaves us with 2 or 3 possibilities. I'm going to say 2 because one of the 3 possibilities remaining is they cocked up and they did the scene and then they didn't have anywhere to put it, so they're just kind of ignoring it. This is another one that I'm feeling very much like ruling out, because I feel like they've been pretty meticulous in general with most parts of the remake project overall, and to just have a scene like this that then comes to nothing feels dumb. It feels the opposite of what Square Enix have been with this game. So yeah, I'm going to rule that out as well, although I think it's more possible that it's just going to be something we never hear of again than it happened before Cloud got dumped on Kyrie. I think it's more likely that it's going to be a forgotten scene that we'll never hear about again. But let's come to the other 2 possibilities. The first of which is that this hasn't happened yet. We've not reached this point, and it kind of works a little bit, but not really. It kind of works. So at the end of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, spoilers, by the way, obviously. All these videos are spoilers now. But at the end of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we finish with Zack sat in a church. The flowers are all blooming, which tells us that at the very least it's a world that has energy left, and it's not going to die anytime soon. And this Zack that we see sat in the church is the same Zack that's going to open the church's doors looking for Aerith. You can see where the problem comes in with that theory already, because he's already in the church, so why would he stand nervously outside the church waiting to open the doors to the church to find an Aerith that he knows isn't there? Doesn't make sense. The only possibility is that Zack's journey isn't complete yet, and I don't think it is, but the church that Zack finds himself at the minute may not be the last version of the church that he finds himself at. You know what I mean? He may hop through another world, he may hop through multiple worlds, who knows? But at some point, he will come to a world where that happens. The other possibility is that there is another world that was created, or another offshoot world, or something to that effect, that we haven't seen yet, and that is where the Zack scene happens. That's the other world version of this. And it feels possible, but it feels a bit messy at the same time, so I don't know, I'm not 100% on that one. The other possibility is also messy, but it kind of feeds in with something that I've been thinking for a while. And if you're a regular viewer, you know you've probably heard me say this crackpot theory before, but I don't think we've been in the OG world, the OG timeline, at any point in this entire remake project. I think this has all been branched worlds that exist within the livestream, and Sephiroth's up to something while Aerith's trying to stop him. It's a manifestation of livestream Black and White almost. Like, the whole remake project feels like a manifestation of Black and White, and that'd kind of feed into them saying that the remake project will all add up to Advent Children in the end, because livestream Black and White happens in between the OG and Advent Children, so maybe what we're seeing here is the manifestation of that struggle within the livestream. That's a different video though, trust me, that's a different video. But to circle back around and get to the point I'm making, what if Zack has actually ended up in the OG world now? That is the tangible change that has happened. Everything else has happened within the livestream, but now Zack has survived in the original world. And I'm not talking about the Zack that we see at the end of Rebirth here, that's a separate thing. What I'm talking about is OG Final Fantasy VII Zack has survived somehow, and just wanders into Midgar looking for Aerith. I haven't got a clue what shape that takes, but for some reason, to my weird brain, that feels more plausible, or at least it feels neater than Zack's going to go hopping through many more worlds, at least one more world, and find a church where he finds all these people in that scene, or that another Zack exists in another one of these errant worlds, as Sephiroth calls them, and that's the Zack that intermission scene happens with. That feels messy. That does feel a bit messy, whereas Zack surviving and being in the OG timeline, it's weird, yes, it's convoluted a little bit, it's a massive reach, trust me, I get that. But I don't know, something about it just feels right. Now maybe that's confirmation bias, because as I've said, I've already believed that we've not been in the OG timeline at any point in the remake project, so maybe that's just me looking for a theory that confirms what I'm saying. If I'm going to be completely 100% honest, it feels like it's just going to be a forgotten scene. It genuinely feels like it's just going to be a forgotten scene. But there is that inkling where, you know, the church from that scene matches up with the church from Advent Children and Crisis Core, not Reunion, Crisis Core. You know, all of these bits of imagery match up, and it suggests to me that maybe we're looking at OG timeline Zack in the end of that intermission scene. I don't know. I need you to help me with this because I'm a little bit confused by it. It's a weird one though, because everyone expected the scene to be in Rebirth, and now it hasn't been. It's confusing. A lot of people have kind of forgotten about it as well, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've seen a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I forgot about that scene, because it just doesn't come back up again. Even Leslie comes up again, but that scene doesn't. It's weird. It's very weird. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Do you have a different theory to anything that I've put out there? I think I've covered all the bases. And they're not really theories, these. They're more possibilities. I'm just kind of looking at what could make sense. I mean, I suppose the only other possibility is that it's some sort of weird flashback. But, like, the Zack that we've seen in Rebirth would not at any point now go to the church looking for Aerith. I don't think that's a thing that he would do, because he knows that something's going on. He's already directed Cloud to save Aerith. He's already seen Aerith. Do you know what I mean? All of these things have already happened. So why would he then nervously stand around outside a church talking to himself only to burst in? Do you know what I mean? It just feels weird. Anyway, I'm becoming circular, so I'm going to stop. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Any of my possibilities tickling you? Have you got your own ideas for where the intermission scene is? Like I say, I think it's most likely that it's going to be a forgotten scene, but given the approach to the project overall, I don't know, I can't just settle on that. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, like the video, subscribe for future content, do all of the things, but more importantly than all of that, tell me where Zack is. I mean, have a great day. Have a great day.